Many professors would think their job is to teach, right? They arrive in the classroom, they spout out some stuff, they grade. I consider myself an engineer of the entire learning experience, and that means from the moment the student walks in the classroom, there's something going on, and it's not random, it has been engineered. Physical layout, music played, how I walk around, all of these things, the majority of professors just leave to chance. I prefer to engineer them because I see myself as teacher as engineer. I'm not an engineer anymore, but I am. And what I mean by that is I do not teach to the textbook. I always start from scratch. I gather the things which are next to me and I assemble a course. Now, what attracted me to marketing was the irrationality of people. It's not that marketing is irrational, it's that customers are irrational. So I realized that I could actually apply my precision engineering approach to marketing, to course design, to delivery of the course in the classroom. That is really what makes me different. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Hey, today we are picking up on our second in the series of go-to-market strategies.
He has a whole systematic way of teaching marketing. Always the first question is, what is marketing?
Remind me, what is marketing? I forgot.
Marketing is going to market.
Marketing is going to market. Is it an option? Why is it not an option?
Because that's where the customer is.
Because that's where the customer is, and if we want to make money, we must go to the market.
We say that every day in class. We kind of do like a little 5-minute cap of everything that we've talked about. We learned on the first day and kind of expanded upon, but now we're kind of diving deep into, okay, why do you choose to go to market? How do you go to market? What customers are going to target?
So it's just a nice guideline, and it's a way of remembering it in a very easy and fun way forever.
As long as I can remember, I was building cars. That's why some people think I'm a car guy, but I'm not really a car guy. What I am is I'm a do-it-yourselfer. I like to build stuff. And it all began with my father. He was a DIYer. He had the tools. Now, this is a 1962 Austin Healey 3000. I got this vehicle when I was 18 years old. I did all the work on it, rebuilt the engine, did all the body work, redid the interior, and here it is, completed. An absolutely gorgeous, iconic vehicle. One of the prerequisites to my building is disassembly. I don't just throw a new coat of paint on it and say, look, isn't that a beautiful looking restored vehicle? I need to take it down to the bare bones. By breaking it down, I can discover what needs to be rebuilt. And it's very much analogous to how I approach designing a course. When I am tasked with a new course, I tear it down. I start with a bare metal shell, just like my cars. Marketing strategy is all about having a plan, being more recipe-like in how we go to market. And the recipe which we are using is this handy-dandy onion skin model, right? The way I've structured this course is using a model. And the model looks like an onion. It has 6 layers. And each of these layers I have constructed as a series of decisions which a student must make. So, think about our onion skin model. What's the next level after go-to-market strategy?
Segmentation.
And what's segmentation targeting about? For whom we go to market. Students need to have a story. They need to have a narrative on which they can hang all of these different concepts and tools and Consequently, I developed this model to be the tangible manifestation of the storyline. Rebuilding a car can be very solitary. In fact, most of it is done by yourself out in the garage. But I actually consider myself an extrovert. I got into teaching partly because of the social activity. I do work diligently to create deeper connections with my students because I think that teaching is so much more than just teaching and grading, that I can have a very powerful influence on the lives of my students. For example, I do not have office hours because by stating specific office hours, you are telling the student I'm only available during that time. What I prefer is the student to think John's available anytime he's not in the classroom. Perhaps the relationship which I have with my students is the relationship which I wish I had had with my father. My father and I talked lovingly to each other through coded language. Hey, I'm thinking of buying a new car. Is that loving? Well, that's our coded language of saying, let's talk about something of common interest, but we've never actually sat down and talked to each other about feelings. This is one of those cases, human beings, they're difficult to engineer. And that probably will be the one thing I'll never be able to engineer. I could have approached my father and tried to change the type of relationship which we had. And maybe the action which I take with my students is the action which I wish I had done with my father. My philosophy is that a professor is more than just someone who imparts knowledge. I see myself as a friend in some cases, a guidance counselor, a walking Rolodex for students who want jobs. I'm a connector, I'm a marriage counselor. I do all sorts of things outside the classroom. This is why I got into teaching. It wasn't just to be the center of attention, standing up there, delivering a lecture, entertaining. It wasn't just about engineering incredible learning experiences. It was the social component. I need to engineer connections which transform my students and simultaneously transform me.